You will make it through. The Fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The Fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Alhamdulillah, wassalat, wait a minute. I can see I don't have it worked on here. Okay, let me start it again. Alhamdulillah, wassalat, wassalam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our series of diluting el-wala wal-bara. Diluting el-wala wal-bara. And this is the third volume of this wonderful trilogy. And a lot of you asked me when we finish this, because we're almost done with this book, am I going to go over the first of the trilogy? Yes, because many of you who are here now were not here when I taught the first of this book 3 years ago. It took us a year to cover each book. I taught volume 1 3 years ago. I taught volume 2 2 years ago, and I just finished volume 3. So many of you are new to my classes, and you weren't here for the first of this series, which speaks about what it means to the first part of the Shahada, which is what it means to believe in Allah. So I will cover that. We're going to restart that class over. It's going to take us a year to get through that book. So for those of you who have not yet ordered the first of this trilogy, please do so. Please go to Amazon.com and order the first book, which is Get to Know Your Lord of this trilogy. And for those of you who don't have money, which I don't know any of you that don't have money, because we all can come up with money. We can come up with money to get our nails done, can't we, sisters? Let's just keep it real. I'm a woman. I know how much it costs to get your nails done. Well, buying these books cost less than how much you spend to get a manicure. Oh, yeah. You can afford to get your nails done. You can afford to get this book with these books, which are only $19.99. Oh, yeah. You spend more for that getting your nails done. So this stuff about, oh, I don't have any money, I can't afford it. Please, baby. We can afford to do whatever it is we want to do. That's how we are as human beings, and that's how we doubly are as Muslim women. We'll make a way. We will make a way. The Fitra will guide you to make a way, okay, if it's been ignited. Okay, so to make sure you go to Amazon.com and get volume 1 of the Diluting El-Wala Wal-Bara, which is Get to Know Your Lord. And I don't know why I don't have my I'm going to have to re-upload to this program my pictures, because I don't have them all on this one. But you know, that's what we're going to do when we're finished with this book. We're going to revisit. We will revisit Get to Know Your Lord. And also, before we begin, I did post up a lot of the sisters here and brothers sent me emails this morning. I did check my emails. And a lot of you were asking, yes, the video is up now. Yesterday's lecture class I did on how to pray from A to Z. I did, the live was always there. But you guys wanted the edited version and the Don't Get It Twisted. Both of them are uploaded. The Don't Get It Twisted is uploaded. That's just where I cut off. I just recorded the part of me speaking about women and men praying without a partition, because this is a fitna. And I'm going to tell you guys where that's coming from. We have this so-called council called the North American Fiqh Council. You know, every country in the world makes their own fiqh council. Okay? The European Fiqh Council, the Australian Fiqh Council. Well, we got the North American Fiqh Council too. And y'all know who's the head of that. I think Omar Suleiman is the head of that, I believe. But anyway, they're the ones that put out a fatwa saying that the masjids here in the America and North America, including Canada, that the masjids here in North America should not allow the women and men to pray separate, because it's not the sunnah. They should allow the women to pray with the men in the main musalla. That's their North American Fiqh Council rule. Okay? And they say that the prophet didn't put partitions and barriers between the women and men, and the prophet allowed the women to pray right behind the men. But this is not correct. And I addressed that yesterday with the fatwa of Aisha radiallahu anha, whose fatwa supersedes any fatwa that any human being on this planet today can make. That's not true. The Prophet Muhammad did have a partition between the women and men. What was the partition? The human body. As Aisha said, the Prophet put the young boys and the young men behind the men. And then we prayed behind them. So there was a partition. The partition was the human body, the boys. And there were a lot of boys like Ali. Ali converted to Islam when he was 8 years old, like Abu Huraira, like Anas, who was his water barrier. There were a lot of young boys, young teens, preteens who were Muslim. Ibn Umar. They stood behind the men. And then the women stood behind them. And as Aisha says, we were not close to the young boys either. We were away from the young boys. So this is not true. Y'all have to be careful of these fatwas. And like I was telling you guys yesterday, it's all about politics. It's all about Muslims who have lost their Islamic identity. You have these progressive Muslims. You have these imams who you all have made famous. They're really not scholars of this religion. They're people here in America that played upon and still do play upon the ignorance of Western Muslims. If they were in their countries, they wouldn't be anything. They wouldn't be famous. They'd be nobodies, probably executed. Okay? But they play upon the ignorance of Western Muslims who don't know better. Okay? Because they were not raised up in an Islamic environment. Because their faith has been weakened. Their parents were weak. So they play upon the ignorance of the West, and they'll issue fatwas making you think that feminism is a good thing, that women can lead prayers. Astaghfirullah. Women can pray with the men. We can shake hands with non-mahrams. They want to change the religion. Why? I'm going to tell y'all why. You ain't going to hear why from other people, but I know the system. Why? Because they've been made offers by the United States government. They were the ones that put Obama in office. And now we got the Democratic rule still going on, saying if y'all support us, if y'all get the Muslims in America to vote, because before we Muslims never voted because we know it's haram. But now, you know, they need to go to the leaders amongst the people that the people think are scholars and they making them offers. If you get the Muslims to come out and support the Democratic Party, we're going to give you a position. We'll allow you to be a part of this American task force. We'll allow you to be a part of that American task force. We'll even have you come to the White House during Ramadan. Oh, yeah. That's how America got to these brothers and sisters that y'all think are scholars when they're not. Y'all just made them famous because of your ignorance. So now they're changing the laws of Islam to accommodate the Democratic Political Party, LGBTQ. They already helped get that passed. Women's feminism, they've helped with a lot of that. They're on those committees, okay? To allow women to lead men, to allow women to have a voice in politics. Shouldn't no Muslim woman be a public spectacle like that? As no congresswoman, more or less a president. What did the Prophet Muhammad say? He said, put a woman as in charge, make her your leader, and you will never succeed. That's just the nature of the woman, and I am a witness to that. I am a woman. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. I wasn't created to be nobody's leader because we're too emotional. We have that PMS. We get anxiety. We got to run to the man. It's just our nature. Just like y'all see me. Something go wrong at this website. What do I do? Dr. Jamali. I call Dr. Jamali. Or what do I do? Dr. Ali. Or what do I do? Sheikh Morsi. Sheikh Morsi. Urgent, urgent. Beam me up, Scotty. That's just the nature of a woman. We're too emotional. But these brothers and these sisters here who y'all made famous in America that's advocating for y'all to go out and vote and all of them, they sold their souls for fame. They sold their souls for the White House. So now they're changing the laws. They want to revisit the rules on separation between women and men. And this is what the prophet said would happen. He said the later generations, my people of the later generations, they will do the same thing that the Jews did. They will change this religion and they will use science. They will use politics as a means to change Allah's laws, Allah's rules. And that's what they're doing even with the prayer. So that part that I did yesterday, don't get it twisted. It's called Women and Men Praying Without a Partition. That's garbage. Yeah, the prophet didn't put a wall up. That's true. The prophet didn't build a wall. He didn't build a curtain. He didn't have to. He used the human body as the partition. And the partition between the women and men were the young boys. And they had a lot of them. And the women even stood back away from them too, as Aisha said. And the men were not even allowed to leave until the women left. Did y'all know that? The prophet had a separate door built for the women to leave out of. And after each prayer, the prophet would do this so the men remained sitting. This is all from Aisha, radiallahu anha. You learn them hadiths, you know this. The prophet would do this for the men to remain seated. And then the women would leave out through the side door. And then the men would get up. The men wouldn't turn around and look back at nothing. And if they did, they would see the boys. Because the young boys wouldn't move either. That's the reality. Why should I build a wall when I got human bodies? So I will be making shorts of that too. But for those of you who wanted me to speak about that, because from what I understand, there's a masajid in California, in LA. One of the sisters said that she and her family are trying to find a new mosque because the mosque where she lives in California, she went to it and she never seen anything like it. There was all this intermixing, mingling. The women and men were sitting close together, praying together and talking together, laughing. She said she thought she was in a Christian revival. So she's trying to find another mosque. But that's where these masjids get this from, because of that fatwa that was put out by the North American Fiqh Council. The North American Fiqh Council can bounce. In other words, I wouldn't listen to nothing from a North American Fiqh Council, because the North American Fiqh Council belongs to the President of the United States. Let me just get real. It's all about politics and fame. All right. So that video's out. So today for this class, and by the way, also, yes, another announcement, I'm going to tell it now. Tomorrow, these same people, all of these decisions about changing the rules of Islam, the way we pray, the way we marry, the way we divorce, the rights of women being escalated, the rights of men being escalated. This is so-called American Fiqh Council is behind all of this. These famous brothers and sisters that y'all look at on YouTube, because they speak so soft. They don't talk like Layla. They don't have loud voices. They're not men and women of passion. They're eloquent and soft-spoken. Beautiful to look at. The women are beautiful to look at. The men are beautiful to look at. And you're so busy looking at them, mesmerized by the big words that they use. You don't even understand what they're saying half the time. The eloquence, the PhDs, they brag and boast about their PhDs. They got y'all so bewitched. Well, all of these changes in marriage violations is coming from them. And they're doing it because they're part of the Zionists. Let's just get real. You're part of the Zionists. Okay? It's all about whatever the White House has promised you. They're going to put you on a task force committee for the rights of women and men. All right? And offer you $50,000, $60,000. And offer you a lot of CNN coverage. Oh, yeah, you want to be famous? Fame. Take a screenshot. Vogue. Do the pose. Vogue. That's what it's all about. But anyway, and a lot of the masajids, the masjids are afraid to speak out against certain things. The masjids, they're conforming out of fear. And that's really sad. It shows how weak we are as a nation. We're not supposed to fear anyone or anything but Allah. But you want to stay in sync with the Fiqh Council, with these famous celebrities here in America, these Muslim celebrities. So you're afraid to tell people, we shouldn't be intermingling like this. You're afraid to tell the women, astaghfirullah, Allah didn't give you that right. You can't just divorce your husband without going to an imam. Oh, yeah, that's a big problem. How many brothers are talking about how their wives are divorcing them? Because this famous personality said that things are different. They can revisit things. Well, tomorrow, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys, Dr. Ibrahim Jamali is going to do a special lecture on the conditions and the pillars of a marriage contract. Because we got a lot of women today getting married without guardians. Okay? We got a lot of Muslims getting married by the court of America instead of the laws of Islam. We got a lot of Muslims not having the witnesses, the announcements, and all of that. Okay, so Dr. Jamali is going to speak about that here tomorrow at 7 p.m. And I do have a flyer that I put out. For those of you on YouTube, go to the community settings. You will see the advertisement I posted up yesterday. The pillars and conditions of the marriage contract. That's going to be tomorrow at 7. For those of you on Facebook, go to the Sunnahfollowers group page. It's there and it's also on my profile. Just scroll down to it. So please share that with the other Muslims. We're going to have a special lecture from Jamali on the conditions of a valid marriage contract. Hopefully he'll have PowerPoint too. Let me text him right quick. Because that's what y'all need to see is PowerPoint too. Let me type and make sure he got it. Yeah, hopefully he will. I think he will have PowerPoint for his lecture tomorrow, because that way y'all can follow him better. All right, so that's what we got tomorrow. And again, the video on praying without a partition, I just put that out and I'll make shorts. So let's get to this class now. We've been speaking about how as Muslims, there's nothing in Islam that forbids us from living in America. And I want to talk about that for a second. We have some radical, fanatical, crazy, extreme Muslims that are saying that any person that lives in America is a kafir. Yeah, oh yeah. How many of you seen those TikToks that there are no Muslims in America? Every Muslim in America is a kafir. Astaghfirullah. These people are going to answer to Allah for that. Okay? There's nothing in Islam that says we cannot live in a non-Muslim state. We can live anywhere on this earth. Allah tells us that in the Quran. We can live anywhere on this earth as long as we are able to practice our religion openly. Openly. Now, that makes me question, why do we have Muslims living in France? France is the only country I know of that's got all these rigid rules about a woman. A woman can't dress like a Muslim in government offices, nor can she dress like a Muslim in school. So all you Muslims in France need to hit it. Y'all need to be moving up out of there. Okay? Exactly. The earth belongs to Allah. Allah said that in the Quran. The earth belongs to him. And he created it for us to live. And we can go out, seek mates, and live anywhere on this earth as long as we're able to practice our religion. America, as of now, does allow us to practice Islam. The problem is maintaining your Muslim identity. The problem is there's a lot of Muslims that live here in America who have sold their souls for this dunya. There's a lot of Muslims here in America who have forgotten their Islamic identity as a result of selling their souls. They're into the life of this world, the fame, the money, the big houses, the followers on YouTube. And they've abandoned La ilaha illallah. And they've abandoned Muhammadur Rasulullah. And they've abandoned the principle and concept of al-wala wal-bara. But not all Muslims. There are a few of us here who are holding down Islam and its truthfulness with the understanding of the companions. Okay? So you can live here in America, you can live anywhere as long as you're able to practice. Like I said, the only place I question is France. What's going on with you Muslims in France? Y'all need to get up out of that sick country. All right. So it's all about the identity. We can live amongst the non-Muslims. The Prophet Muhammad lived amongst them. Medina was a place that had Christians, Jews, and Muslims, okay, and pagans. So we can live amongst the other people as long as we uphold our Islamic values and morals. And that brings us to the topic that we've been speaking about this week, which is sports. We talked about whether or not it is permissible for Muslims to engage in sports. And we talked about how, yes, it is. In fact, Allah encourages it. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, encouraged it. Allah commands us to take care of our bodies, take care of our health, that our bodies will be a witness either for us or against us on the day of judgment. But we have to be careful as to what type of sport we participate in, because in our Islamic way of life, we don't go around deliberately, intentionally harming people. We don't go around intentionally, deliberately harming Allah's other creation too. So as long as the sport that we're indulging in or engaging in is not violating any of the concepts of Islam, yes, we can do it. And we also spoke about other things to consider too, such as the dress and all of that. Well, today we're going to talk about professional sports. What do I mean by that? Well, Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd covers in this part of this chapter a person who wants to make a career. Can I make a career as a sportsman? Can I make sports my career? In other words, instead of going to school to be a doctor or a nurse or a lawyer, can I just make the fact that I like to play games? Because that's what sports are. They're games. Is this permissible? Well, let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen and we can tackle this question now, inshallah. Okay, there it is. Everybody should be able to see it. We're going to answer that. So, yes, of course, the answer is yes. You can engage in professional sports as long as you adhere to certain Islamic guidelines. And we're going to be covering pages 500 through 503. So those of you who have the book can take the book out, turn to page 500. For those of you watching me on television, on the big screen TV, remember, channel Sunnahfollowers. We're streaming live. We're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rumble, on Odyssey, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on Twitch and X, channel Sunnahfollowers. For those of you watching, make sure you take screenshots with your phones of the PowerPoints, okay? So we're going to go over and answer this question of making a career out of sports, okay? Let's see what Sheikh Kareem put here. Professional sports, they are an acceptable avenue to make money in Islam, provided that the ethics and religion and our religious conditions are fulfilled. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the honest and trustworthy merchant will stand with the prophets on the day of judgment, and with the truthful people, and with the martyrs. So again, if you want to make a career out of sports, it's okay. as long as the sport that you're doing is not haram and you're not violating any of our ethical commandments. That means you have to implement al-wala wal-bara, allegiance and disassociation. That's why y'all can see this is part of the Shahada. Every choice we make in life is going to entail al-wala wal-bara, allegiance and disassociation, even in our careers. So now what I like that Sheikh Kareem did, he put down some points that we need to consider. And I want you young brothers, I got some kids here. For example, Precious kids, her sons, they're good at, one of her sons is good at football. He won the state championship. What if he wants to make a career? Because he's going to probably get picked up. The scouts are going to probably come after him and want him to play college football. And that's a good thing because they'll pay his whole college tuition. And that's something that Precious needs to consider. She's homeschooling her children now, but she might want to put him in the 11th, let him go to regular school in the 11th grade so he can get scouted and picked up for a scholarship to college. But there are certain considerations that, we have to keep in mind if we're going to make professional sports a career. And I want the women here to understand something. None of this applies to you women. Again, Muslim women cannot become a public spectacle. Allah is clear in the Quran. Oh, you women who believe, do not make a public spectacle of yourself. That means we cannot put ourselves out on public display unless there is a need to. There's no need for a woman to be running track. That's not bringing you close to Allah. It's not helping nobody. It's not like a nurse, a doctor, a female nurse, a daya like I'm doing. There's a need for this. If I don't teach Islam, who is? Ain't nobody else breaking it down like me. I don't want to hear about the men. I'm sorry. I run rings around most of these brothers, and y'all know I do. That's why I got more male followers than I do women. I run rings around them in explaining this deen. Okay? A nurse, that's saving somebody's life. Working in a nursing home, working in a hospital, a doctor who specializes in a sickness, who's a woman, that's different. An ultrasound technician. We need somebody to take ultrasounds, especially for us women. So that's different. There's exceptions. You're helping someone. You're benefiting someone. You're saving someone's life. I am trying to save you from the hellfire. A female doctor, a female nurse is trying to save you from dying. That's not the same as running a track. Who you saving? Fencing, like that Muslim girl in Brooklyn. I'm sorry, I didn't give her no accolades. She shouldn't have been doing it. Should have been doing something productive with her life. Okay? She made herself a public spectacle. Sorry, but the truth hurts. What would the prophet have said to her? He would have asked her, who are you benefiting? Is this bringing you closer to Allah? Who are you helping? Who are you saving? What does this have to do with worship of Allah? So none of this applies to women. We cannot participate and make a living off of professional sports unless the sports entail nobody but women and nobody ever seeing you. Do y'all know of any sport like that? The whole purpose of sports is to be on display. The whole purpose of professional sports is to become a public spectacle. That doesn't mean I can't participate. I can do all the karate. I can do the gymnastics and swimming all I want to behind closed doors with other women, free from being seen by the public. So I want to make this clear. Any of you girls out there with dreams, I'm sorry. Y'all better take them dreams and suck them up. You're a Muslim. We got other things to do. Go to school to be a nurse. Go to school to be a doctor. Go to school to be an ultrasound technician. We need female ultrasound technicians. So I ain't got to have no man taking no ultrasound of my baby. Become a physical therapist. We need Muslim female physical therapists so that Sister Anissa doesn't have to have a man come and help her walk. She can ask for a woman and they can send a woman to help her walk. Go to school to be an occupational therapist. Y'all see, women, we can do those type of things. Not only are you reaping reward with Allah because you're helping the sick, but it's good money too. That you making more money for yourself that you can use to teach your children, to put your children in safausa.org. You can homeschool your children in a Muslim school. We claim that we can't afford Muslim schools. Not even the online schools, because they say the online schools are expensive. Well, if you went to school and became an occupational therapist, and your clientele was women, because that's what we need. My God, I asked for one. I had a man. Oh, yeah. When I had to go through physical therapy with my knee replacement, they didn't have any women available. I said, you have no women? She said, man, we got to send you a man, but he understands that you're a Muslim and he won't touch you unless he has to. I said, this is what the girls need to go to school for. And you can choose your patients. So if you girls want to do something, go to school to be a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, ultrasound technician, nurse, healthcare, because we'll always be sick and we'll always need care. It's nice to have a female to care for another female. And that's what you women need to put in your daughters' minds. It ain't about Cardi B. It's about Amatullah the nurse. Okay? So, this lecture is geared for you brothers, like Precious Son, who may want to make a profession out of sports because Allah has given him a gift. Okay? These are some of the considerations to abide by. Number one, avoid the haram. Stay away from that which is unlawful. You should refrain from participating in teams or leagues that make money from gambling, or they make money from betting, or they promote values that conflict with Islam. That's what Precious is going to have to look at for her son. Because I know there was a Muslim guy when I grew up. He was good. This is something that they were doing in the 80s that destroyed a lot of young college men's chances of going professional. They were offering money underneath the table. They were paying the athletes, the college students. They're not supposed to get paid in college. Oh no, your payment is a free ride, the scholarship. But in the 80s, there was a big problem. They were paying a lot of the young college students money underneath the table to win a game and all of that for basketball. And a lot of the boys got busted, and there were two Muslim boys that I grew up with. They could have went pro. They could have been professional. They could have played with the Lakers. That's how good they were. But they were caught up in that scandal of accepting money under the table, and their careers were done. They had no choice but to go work as a garbage man. Oh yeah, that was a problem in the 80s with a lot of college students. So, it's okay, but avoid the unlawful stuff. You know you're not supposed to take money underneath the table, so don't take it. I don't care about this never turn down money. That's crap. We do turn down money. We turn down any illegal money. If you offer me $1 million and I know that you sold drugs to make it, do you think I'm going to take that money? Oh, not Layla. You might take it, but not me. I'm not taking no money from no illegal means because you held and you knew it was haram. You were held accountable. The prophet said it's the same as if you stole or you sold the drugs yourself. I ain't going to hell for being no drug dealer. So we have to keep that in mind. And remember, Allah tells us in the interpretation, the meaning, oh, you who believe, intoxicants, gambling, sacrificing on altars to other than Allah, and divining arrows are all defilements and the work of shaitan. So avoid it so that you can be successful. Don't think you won't get caught. Those young college kids, college boys in the 80s, they didn't think they'd get caught, but they did. And so many of their careers were over and they could have been pro. Okay. So again, you know, you can play sports, but make sure that the sports doesn't entail anything haram. So again, we're gonna have to implement el wala wal bara. I'm gonna distance myself from accepting money underneath the table. My payment is my scholarship. I'm gonna distance myself from the gambling, from the betting. I'm going to distance myself from any other activity that goes against our values. And again, it's all about upholding our Islamic values. You don't want to be like these brothers, these famous progressive brothers who are now issuing fatwas telling you that your masjids shouldn't have a partition, that the women and men should be praying together. You know, these are brothers who are not upholding the Islamic values in prayer. These same brothers are saying that women don't have to cover up. A woman doesn't have to wear an overgarment. She doesn't have to wear an abaya. And that's why you look at the women who are standing with them on the stages. A lot of these women have on a pair of blue jeans and a turban. A lot of these women have their arms out, blue jeans on, and a little turban. A turban is not a khimar. So we have to uphold the Islamic values, not only in prayer, but in how we dress too, including sports. Remember, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, work together in righteousness. Do not work together in sin and aggression. So if you're going to pick a sport, like if Precious Son wants to go play college football and go pro, he has to make sure that his aura is covered. He has to be mindful of his attire. He should avoid wearing sports jerseys that promote or display unlawful products too. Because a lot of times, if you're a professional athlete, you know, Band-Aid, for example. Band-Aid might want you to promote them. So that's okay. I can wear a jersey with Band-Aid on it. Okay. I can wear a jersey advertising board and milk. I can wear a jersey advertising Cheerios. Cheerios as a cereal. But things that have alcohol in it, we avoid that. I'm not going to wear a jersey advertising Red Dog. I don't know I don't drink. Mad Dog, I think is what, some ghetto stuff. Mad Dog liquor. Okay. I'm not going to wear a jersey that's advertising insurance either. Oh, you know, insurance or anything that's haram. I am not even going to wear a jersey advertising a bank. Say, for example, Society Bank or PNC Bank wants you to advertise. No, banking deals with interest. So I'm not going to, you know, advertise for you. So we have to avoid anything that's going to contradict our Islamic values. Again, el wala wal bara. El wala wal bara. I am not going to wear a shirt advertising Cool cigarettes or Winston cigarettes, Camel cigarettes. You think because I'm Arab, I'll put on a t-shirt that has a camel hump saying Camel cigarettes. It ain't working. We don't do that. And also, Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, don't let your hatred of a people stand in the way of you being just. So you can't go around hating a team on a personal level. You hate these people because they beat you in the game 3-4 times. So you're going to be unjust with them. You're not going to shake his hand. Precious son is a professional football player. He lost the game. So he's going to walk away when his opponent tries to shake his hand and say, good job. He walks away and spits on him. You know, the Muslim athlete have to maintain good ethical standards. We have to demonstrate integrity, honesty, fair play, and respect for the fellow athletes. Okay? Again, everybody's watching you. You are a public spectacle. So you're going to represent Islam in a good way by shaking the other person that beat you hand. Again, el wala wal bara. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and Allah said too, the believers are brothers, so make peace between your brothers and fear Allah. If you're playing against another Muslim, you definitely don't want to hold grudges against them. If Algeria is playing soccer against Libya, put aside that hatred. You're brothers in faith. If Egypt is playing against Somalia, put aside that hatred. You're brothers in faith. Islam encourages solidarity and compassion. Okay, so that's what I wanted to go over today. And I really like the way Sheikh Kareem broke this down in this book, because there's a lot of us here who have kids, sons, who may be pretty good, gifted with football, gifted with basketball, gifted with baseball. Yeah, they can go pro. That's a career. They're not really a public spectacle. This is their career, their livelihood. But they have to abide by the dress code. They have to abide by the honor and rules of integrity that Allah has set aside for us. Again, girls can forget it. I'm sorry. That ain't the role of a woman. A woman was not created to lead, nor was she created to umpire and champion that way. You champion your children. That's your job as a woman, and that's a 24-hour job. And the way we have a high apostasy rate, the way these Muslim kids are growing up today, and they don't know the basics of their religion because their mama had abandoned them. Their mama fell short when they were growing up. So this ain't for you sisters. I don't care what the girl in Brooklyn did. Her parents should have stopped her. They didn't. And is she, Aisha, is she supposed to be a role model to you? Your role model is supposed to be those female companions. And when we talk about the female companions, let me clarify something else too. A lot of you say, well, they fought on the battlefield. Yes, but that's life and death. When the war against Islam happens to America, do y'all think that I'm going to be sitting up, locked up in a house? I'm going to be out there fighting too. Because if you lose, you taken as part of the booty. Oh yeah, you taken as a prisoner of war. I'd rather die than be a prisoner of war. So yes, all the female companions, they were warriors. The Arab women were warriors. But the only time they went out fighting was when there was a war, because they didn't want to go captive. I ain't going captive. I ain't going to be raped and pillaged by no Kafir man. I ain't going to have the Romans rape me. I'd rather die. That's different. Did they make it a life career? Did they make it a career to be like Khalid bin Walid? Khalid bin Walid's first cousin was Salama. Salama grew up with him. They were like brother and sister. She was trained to wield a sword just like Khalid bin Walid. But was she a general of an army? Did she make an army her career? No. But when the war, she went to every battle. She participated in every battle, fighting for Islam and her life. But was that her career? No. Her cousin Khalid, that was his career. The men become generals and soldiers. We women don't take on that type of lifestyle as a career. We're soldiers in the bait. But now if there was a jihad, that's different. Ain't no jihad. You women ain't got no business being in nobody's military. Your military is your home, your children. All right. Don't get it twisted. That's what these brothers, these famous progressive celebrity speakers in America who y'all made scholars and who the White House has offered them money and given them positions in the White House, they're telling you that crap. It's crap. Ain't nobody, no warrior, no woman in no military. Get out of here. All right. All right. Any questions or comments? Okay, the next class we have tonight is my 9:30 class, and that's on the Hasidic tafsir. So make sure you guys are here. And I did post up the pages. What pages did I put up? Was it pages? I put the pages on YouTube. I don't have any people here to help me in the Zoom room, but just go to the community tab, guys, on YouTube channel, and you will see the page, the ad up there, or you can
39 and 42.
Oh, 39 through 42. That's the pages for the Hasidic tafsir, and yeah. Do I have a thing for it up here? Yeah, and this is an ad for it. Let me show it.
The Mukasa Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end?
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Muqasid of Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada Layla Nashiba. Please stay tuned, streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers.
Okay. All right. So that's tonight at 9:30. That'll be my class. So make sure you guys read those pages. Okay. And then I'm going to go over it and I'll give you a quiz at the end of that class too. And I hope you guys are practicing looking at the sky, because tomorrow we're going to have my How to Pray class. I showed you guys pictures of the sky, the different colors. It ain't so much the sun. You don't look at the sun to see what time the prayers are, the colors of the sky. When there's no color, when the sun is up and there's no color, that's Dhuhr. When it's yellow, the sky turns yellow, that's when it's Asr. When you see red mixing with the yellow from the bottom, that's Maghrib. There'll be yellow at the top, red at the bottom, that's Maghrib. Isha is darkness. There's no color at all. When the red is completely gone and there's no color at all in the sky. That's Isha. Fajr, the sky is black. There's no color, but you will see a light, a thin line of light. That's Fajr. A thin line of light going across the sky, but no color. It's dark. Sunrise is when you see the sun coming up, the red at the bottom and yellow at the top again. That lets you know it's too late to pray. You done missed Fajr. You wait till that color is gone. You wait till that sun has completely risen until the red is gone. Again, when you see the red and yellow gone, that's when you can make voluntary prayers, which would be the duha. Okay, so real simple. I hope you guys are looking at the sky, practicing that. All right, any questions before I close out? No questions? Everybody good on YouTube and Facebook? And let me type this, Twitch. I had a couple of people on Twitch too. Okay. All right, guys, I'll be back at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Subhanakalahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. See you guys back here at 9:30, inshallah.